Hey, Scalable experts, welcome to today's episode. I am thrilled that you're here. In this one, I want to talk a little bit about AI and using AI in your business because AI is great and it's something that everybody is using right now, right? So if you go out, you can't help but see AI being sold and marketed and then talking about using it all over in your business. And it's great for most things. But today I want to talk about the traps of using AI and what that looks like. So I had a situation the other day where I had hired somebody to do some sort of deep work with me around part of my business. And I hired her because she was an expert and I was excited to work with somebody who could kind of look at my business from an outside perspective and really provide me some insight based on her expertise for how to shape this, again, this portion of my business. And I use AI extensively for brainstorming and for getting clarity around my thoughts. And I do use it for my business. I use it as a tool to help me shape some different things. But when I use it for client projects, I use it in a way where it becomes my second brain. I don't just use it to replace my thinking and my intellectual sort of property in terms of my frameworks and how I think about things and my approach for what I take, right? So I've obviously programmed my AI. It speaks and spits out things in my voice, which is great. But that doesn't replace my my being present in somebody's business or in someone's project or in someone whatever it is, right? Because at the end of the day, there are different aspects of your business that you are either more involved or less involved in based on kind of the price point of the offer. And I am of the school that if somebody's paying you for a one-on-one VIP session or a one-on-one session where they're really paying for your brain, right? Like they're paying because you have an experience, a level of experience that they don't have, or they want you to look at your business in a way that you can't see just because you're too close to it. That can't be replaced by AI. And nor should it be, right? I think about on the flip side of this, how many people are questioning their jobs or questioning their value in their work, or jobs are being eliminated because, oh, we have AI. It's, taking over all of these things. And so the challenge becomes where's the middle ground with using AI and when is it appropriate and when is it not appropriate? And so again, I was working with this woman and she's great. Like she has a ton of experience. She knows what she's talking about. We had a conversation and the session was recorded and she asked a number of questions, which were all great questions. And I answered the questions based on my understanding of where I was and what I needed. So my expectation was she was going to take that, do some thinking around it with her own expertise, with her own brain, and really look critically at the problem that I had and the solution I was looking for to be able to tell me, okay, with clarity, like, okay, this is what you should do, this is why you should do it, and here's the result that you will be able to anticipate because you're doing it this way, right? There was some sort of method behind the madness. That's what I was looking for. And what I got was a comprehensive AI report. So, and it was very obvious that it was AI. And so that is a lesson in of itself. If you're going to hand somebody an AI report, at least make it look different so it doesn't seem like it's AI, or make sure that you're not just taking it and plunking it in. People can tell, especially at this stage of the game. And especially people who are using AI, right? I'm like, oh, well, I could have just put this in Claude and gotten the same results. So what was the benefit of working with her, right? I didn't see her expertise come out in that AI report. And this isn't just to say anything, bad about her. Like I'm sure at the end of the engagement, everything is going to be fine. But one of the things that it brought up for me was not only did she sort of outsource her expertise to AI, which to me tells me she's not clear on her framework or her value as an expert because, while yes, she's probably programmed her AI, there wasn't a specific sort of framework or approach that reflected her expertise that I could pick out. It was more like, here are all the things that I plugged into AI, including the transcript of our call, your prior presentations that you've done, those kinds of things. So there wasn't really anything new or sort of synthesized at the beginning to say, okay, here's my evaluation of this. Now I'm going to give you some great insights that AI has given me so that it will help you have that clarity, help you have that focus. But there wasn't like, and here's where I come into the picture. And so that was, to me, a miss on her part as being a scalable expert. Because at the end of the day, when you think about it, like, your customer wants and is hiring you for you, right? And that doesn't mean that you have to be there one-on-one and taking your time and attention, but you need to make sure that you, as a person who is providing a personalized experience, a high-ticket experience, that you are showing up as the expert. So you are leading and you're not having AI lead, right? So do you hear the difference? Like, when you're showing up and saying, and here, based on my experience, is how I would handle this. And I know this because of your experience or market research or da-da-da, whatever, fill in the blank here. And based on that, this is what I would do. Not like a laundry list of things or options that could happen. And that's the difference between distilling your work as an expert and just providing a solution to someone. When you use AI to replace your expertise and not enhance it, it's the thing that is going to affect your work more than anything else, right? Because I walked away from that and I'm like, oh, I could have done that. I could have just put it in Claude with my own prompts and ended up with the same response that didn't give me what I was actually looking for, which is, based on my experience, this is what I would do. This will convert. This is how you want to take your expertise and use it to do this thing. That's what I wanted, was actually her expertise. What I felt like I got was her putting her expertise into AI and then spitting out more detail that, again, I could have done. So hopefully that makes sense in terms of using AI as an amplifier of your expertise, not to replace it. And so to me, when I look at that, I'm like, okay, so if you have an expertise and you're not able to lead with it with AI, then yes, your job will be replaced. So start to think about how you own your intellectual property. How do you own your framework and your expertise, and then use AI as a partner to distill that expertise into something that's manageable for people to consume. So instead of a 25-page document, how do you distill it down into the key pieces, right? So every single time I'm using AI, it's like, okay, how do we simplify this to like the fastest path, right? Don't give me 25 pages. Give me the fastest path. How can you say this in one page based on my proprietary framework? What does that look like? How do we do that? So you're using AI as a tool to help you articulate what you want to say as an expert. That's a different way of using AI than, I'm just going to get an engagement, throw it in AI, throw it back to that person and call it a day. Because what it does is, I mean, would I do it again? No, because I didn't get her brain. That's what I wanted, was not her time, right? She could have delivered it in a different way. So it wasn't necessarily like we had to work together one-on-one, but I needed her to just put her head on my problem and and provide me a recommendation based on her experience. And that is the shift, that is the change that didn't happen, right? If I wanted to get an AI report, she could have just given me a prompt and I could have used that prompt, right? Like there was no value in actually paying for a VIP day because I didn't get her brain on the problem I was having. So hopefully that makes sense. And if that's you, like if you're thinking like, oh yeah, I've done that, really think about what kind of experience that makes for your customer. And then how you can shift just even slightly, right? Just like I said, add a summary at the beginning. Like, here are my thoughts based on my expertise around this problem and how I would solve it or how I recommend that you solve it, and then do the report, right? Like, some of the stuff in there was great. Again, not anything I couldn't do and not what I had paid for. So think about that from your customer's experience. All right, there you go. That is the podcast for today. I really challenge you to continue to embrace and use AI because, again, I think it's great when used appropriately, but really pay attention to your customer and your customer's experience and how you show up in that AI. Don't outsource your expertise and your intellectual property to AI. Just like the same way I would say, don't just grab somebody else's framework and use it as your own. Have your own way that you show up, have your own framework that you've packaged so that you can continue to grow and scale your business without getting stuck in the minutia of all of the things. All right, if you love this episode, give it a rating, share it with a colleague. If you are ready to start thinking about how you show up as the expert in your business, give me a shout. Would love to talk to you about that to help you through that process.